So, gravel bikes. Just some old shite they made up in 2012 to sell more bikes, or genuine innovation? Yeah, it seems like all of a sudden the world and his granny wants a gravel bike. And I have to admit that I'm no saint either, because back in 2021 I also bought a gravel bike, and I can't help thinking that somewhere along the lines I too got caught up in all of that marketing hype. But having said that, I absolutely love my gravel bike and I'm really glad that I bought it. So for the benefit of anyone that may have been living under a rock for the last 10 years, a gravel bike is kind of like the love child of a rugged, chunky mountain bike and a sleek, elegant road bike. And the resulting offspring will have nice, wide off-road tyres, a nice, robust frame and low gear ratio, while at the same time having drop handlebars and all the good looks of a road bike. And if GCN are anything to be believed, they've been around for the last 10 years or so, but it's only in the last 5 that they've become really popular. And that's probably down to the fact that they can be ridden pretty much anywhere. I'm sure we would all like to own more than one bike, so a road bike, an off-road bike, a winter bike, a commuting bike, a spare winter bike, and, well, I'm sure you get the idea. N+1 and all that. The good thing though with gravel bikes is that they're kind of like the Swiss army knife of bikes. They're strong enough to be ridden off-road, they're fast enough to be ridden on the road, they make great commuter bikes, and you can even take them bike packing if that's the sort of business that you're into. Unfortunately, as we all know, bikes aren't cheap things to buy. And if your budget, or heavens forbid your other half, only allows you to buy one bike, then a gravel bike is going to be your best bet. And then hopefully that will leave some spare cash left over for the more important things in life, like going on cycle holidays, for instance. Check out the link below. Smooth. It goes without saying that if you've got a gravel bike, you're not just limited to riding on the road. While you're out and about, if you suddenly see a track or an off-road trail, you can take it there and then and go off and explore. You can have a mini adventure and still be home in time for tea. One of the reasons why I think gravel bikes are so popular could be because they are just so comfortable. And this was very apparent during the pandemic, when many people were buying bikes so that they could get out of the house, get some exercise, enjoy the fresh air and explore their local area. And when they went down to their local bike shop, they didn't want some aggressive framed road bike, but at the same time they didn't want some clunky, heavy mountain bike either. And a gravel bike kind of sits there in that sweet spot between the two. I think many people ride gravel bikes because of a perception issue as well. On the one hand, they don't want to be some lycra-clad road warrior, and then on the other hand, they don't want to see themselves as some crusty crud monkey. But if you have a gravel bike, you can wear your normal clothes and go off and have a nice, gentle spin pretty much anywhere. As a heavier rider myself, I can say with first-hand experience that a gravel bike is the ideal choice for us heavier riders. So here we have my gravel bike. It's a Pinnacle Arcos 1 that I got from Evans for £800 back in September 2021. It's essentially an entry-level gravel bike, and as you can see, it's got a nice robust metal frame and nice wide strong wheels, and when I'm riding it I don't have any fears of it folding underneath me like some cheap concertina. And unfortunately, I can't always say that when I'm riding one of my carbon framed road bikes. But then I am a roadie at heart, and a gravel bike is fantastic because it looks and feels like all of the bikes that I've been riding for my entire adult life. Now, because gravel bikes are slightly heavier and have slightly wider tyres, you could easily be forgiven for thinking that they are slightly slower than normal road bikes. But when I went out for my first ever ride on my Pinnacle, I was very pleasantly surprised because I couldn't really notice any change in speed. I initially thought it was going to be a lot slower due to the knobbly tyres. Now, if you're worried about not being able to keep up with your mates who are all on road bikes on your local club run, then you may have a point. But yeah, if being 0.2 of a kilometre an hour slower is keeping you awake at night, you can always go out and buy a second wheel set equipped with thinner tyres, or you could just suck it up and see it as good training. I'll have to admit that yes, the cynical part of me does think that maybe I was caught up in the marketing hype, or if I was feeling particularly generous, I was listening to their clever marketing. I also think that nowadays we're in a kind of chicken and egg situation. More people are riding gravel bikes because there's more choice of gravel bikes and more places to ride them, and there are more choice and more places to ride because more people are choosing gravel bikes. Whatever the reason though, it's absolutely fantastic that more people are getting on bikes. Buying a gravel bike wasn't something that I planned. It was a very spontaneous, split-second, spur-of-the-moment decision that I made there and then in the bike shop on that Sunday afternoon. But if you want to see how I got on riding my gravel bike for that very first time, then you can click on the video just here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.